What's up, guys? Pre-game twirl, episode 3. Our first guest, B. Galley, veteran forward for the Habitants. Galley, obviously, really appreciate you coming on. Kind gesture. I kind of think about it just like Lane Hudson when he got his first point against Detroit. You let him go first down the handshake line. Um, but it's only proper of me, right? Obviously, you played with Big Money Mitch. So, what was it like playing with Money?
Oh,
Choose the words carefully now.
every day was a pleasure. There was there's good days, there's bad days around the rink, but with Mitchy around there, as you can I'm sure you can tell, there's something to laugh about. But when it was time to play, you get Mitchy high stepping around the Bell Center. I loved every day with Mitchy. He was one of my favorite teammates. So
Yeah,
happy.
we had some good times together for sure. I wanna loosen things up and start with a little prank that I know me those years. Well, you've had a bunch of years in Montreal now, the big old vet now, but we those were the years with Andrew Shaw, uh, Polly B, myself, and you. There was some good pranks going around. This one, I'm gonna preface it for our listeners and for you, Woody. This one is like deep rooted for me. I'm gonna let Galley say his piece here and hopefully come clean on it because I know he was part of it. Whether or not he had the scissors in his hands and he was the culprit is another question. I gotta let him say his piece, but this dates back for me when I'm like 14 years old. Okay. I wake up one morning, I got some sensitivity in my nipples. All right. Don't know what's going on. Tell my mom, I think I have fucking cancer at this point. They hurt so bad. She goes, let's go get them checked out. I go down to the local Pakistani doctor in my town, Canadian Medicare system, no idea what I'm getting into. And he tells me that I have nipple balls. I said, nipple, what the fuck do I have?
She says, "Don't worry," or he says, "Don't worry. It's going to be 1 to 2 years, and they'll go away." Something with puberty. So I go home, WebMD this thing, and it's an actual thing. Well, I'm playing bantam football and bantam hockey, and football. Like I'm getting jacked up, like hands to chest, and I'm hurting so bad, Galley, that I'm about to piss my pants every time I get hit there. Well, fast forward now, 20 years. I'm 33 or 34 years old playing for the Habs. And I definitely confide in Galley one night. We're probably in the Ritz-Carlton somewhere with our robes and slippers on. I got a glass of rouge, and I'm telling you about my nipple problem when I was going through puberty. The balls went away in 2 years, but some of the poofiness, like stayed. So I would say I'm going to expose myself here, Eileen. You could post a picture too after this that I have a little bit above average size nipples. Okay. So I confide in Galley. I don't know where we are. Fast forward now to this prank, Galley.
I got to try to tell this without laughing. I haven't talked about this in years. So, just so you know, when this was all going on, it was full on prank wars around the rink. It was no one was safe. Management, coaches. It was we were going through a bit of a tough time, and our mentals coach, said, "Why don't you guys have some fun and start pranking each other?"
Yeah, just fuck
Yeah.
around and get loose again. Yeah.
So it went for about 2 weeks. There was guys practicing with glue sticks in their sticks. I went home. I had Tiger Balm in my underwear. There was something every day.
Yeah.
One
it was
day,
ridiculous.
Mitchie to this day believes I did it, but I'll tell you the story what happened. I was going one day and I cut all the holes off of Andrew Shaw's socks. I knew he would blame me for it because he had pranked me last. So I went and I actually brought an old pair of socks of my own and I cut the hole. So I got myself. So before he had a chance to actually get angry about the whole situation, I was like, oh, that Mitchie got me again. How are we going to get him, Shazzy? How are we going to get him? And Mitchie had just been telling me about his sensitive nipples. So I was a little bit. I planted the idea. Shazi was for sure the one who did the. He was doing the time, but I will say I was a bit of a. Oh, sorry, I gotta.
You're good.
That's Emma's computer. I was a bit of a puppet master in the whole thing, and when Mitchie was sitting there, he's stubborn. He's stubborn. So this was a game day. Like I said, no one was safe. He's sitting there with his pepperoni nipples cut out of his shirt, and he's walking around the rink before the game, trying to take this seriously. This guy's sitting there, he's tying his skates, you're staring at his nipples, and he played the entire game of the damn thing. And it didn't end the prank war, but that was kind of the
That
my
that
favorite moment, anyways.
there,
It kept going.
there's a line
Yeah,
to cross
yeah.
with the pranks, and I'm gonna say I remember one of the Secret Santas in San Jose said we were in Dallas at the shout out to the Capitol Grill having a nice fillet, and we do the Secret Santas and Setaguchi reaches into the bag to pull his gift out, and he comes out with his hand, and it's covered in human shit. That's probably crossing the line. I put this pepperoni nipple prank up there with it. Okay, Gally.
No, that was honestly when I to this day I can't talk about it without laughing. It's that's the stuff you remember. But it didn't end there. There was more to come with this because this kind of escalated your intensity matters and you wanted to get revenge.
Yes, I did. I did. Oh man, I'm gonna throw. Anyways, Woody, that's good. It's a good one. I felt like he crossed the line. I figured Shazi had a hand in it too. For fuck's sake.
Gally, talk to us about your welcome to the Habs moment. Obviously, when you talk atmosphere, we're obviously biased, but I think no place matches the Bell Center. When you talk New York, right? They got the Knicks, the Bronx Bombers, the Rangers. In Montreal, like that's their team. So just talk to us when you're like, whoa, like playing in Montreal for the Habs, it's different.
It really is. You know, I kind of wish every player got to feel what it's like to step on the ice at the Bell Center. It's a privilege, and it never goes away. I think I've played, I don't know, 12 years there maybe now. You still get that same special feel and step on the ice.
Quick flex.
My first NHL game. So I sat out the first one, played the second one. We're playing Florida. Had an assist. The puck literally hit my ass. Like I was behind the net twirling around. The puck hit my ass, went to Prusty. Prusty made a pass to Alex Galchenyuk. I know, weird. He scored. I got my first point. After the game, we're going to sleep at the hotel. It's 1, 2 in the morning. Obviously, I'm buzzing. I can't fall asleep. Someone keep pulling the fire alarm. So me and Galchenyuk, we go down to the lobby. We're sitting there. It's like 1, 2 in the morning, and the whole hotel lobby starts chanting our names, just back and forth, back and forth. It's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. We're stuck down there for probably 2 hours. But everyone in the lobby was just, and 20-year-old kids. It was probably one of the cooler things we've ever had. So it was, and that was when we understood how they liked us. But it was pretty special to play in that city, and they've been treating me like that ever since.
12 years, you kind of feel like you've seen it all, and I know you guys want to go on a deep playoff run, and I'm not even going to jump into the deep hockey talks. I'm going to leave that to Woody, but I'll chime in here. But a funny story, again, not to go back too much on the pranks. This isn't necessarily a prank, but I remember Gally, like, coming into the league, and his name, you'd see it everywhere. Just with how hard he worked and the goals that he was scoring. You mentioned, like, right off your ass and in the net, off your helmet in the net. That was just the type of player you still are. And there was one moment where you gotta chime in and help me here, Gally, but you broke your hand and then you re-broke it, and then you had surgery, and the fucking glove that you had, it was like the Incredible Hulk, like, Halloween costume that you came out with for practice one day, because obviously, being the type of competitor you are, you're trying to get back in the lineup as soon as possible. Probably bump me to 13th forward, cocksucker. But I remember this fucking glove that the equipment guys put together for you, and I could not believe that you were playing with this thing.
Well, they had it was, I don't know, it was probably like 20th game of the year. Broke my hand. Johnny Boychuk slap shot. It was one of the more disgusting things I've ever seen. My finger was pointing the other way. Um, you know, standing there, get off the ice, surgery. The Winter Classic game was in, I think about, you know,
So that's what you were trying to come
I was
back
trying to
for.
come back for
Yeah.
the Winter Classic game.
Yeah.
Never played in any of those. It was in
Foxborough.
Foxborough. It was,
Yeah.
it was Montreal, Boston. I wanted to be in that game. It was about 3 weeks and 4 days post-op. They told me, you're going to be out 4 to 6 weeks. So I'm like, that's fine. Like, we'll just stretch it. It'll be fine. So as I'm doing I just kept telling the doctors, like, I'm playing. Like, it's, like, I'm going to be in that game. I don't care what you say. I'm not sitting out any longer. No more rehab. So as I'm coming back, they didn't let me touch a puck. So they cut my blade off my stick. So I was only allowed to do rehab skates because the first day I came back, I was like stick handling a puck on the ice. They're like, no, you can't do that. So every one of my rehab skates up until the game, I did without a blade. It was just the shaft, and I would skate around with the shaft. Then the doctor was worried about how cold it was and how, if I took a cold puck to the hand. So in order to make the doctors happy, I'm not kidding you, they had to add, it was at least 4 times the weight of a regular glove.
It was insane
like,
to look at.
It was a blocker. Like, it was just a goalie blocker that I was playing with on my top hand for the game, but it made the doctors happy. I had to keep it for another 2 weeks and play with it. And then I still have a pad on my glove, but it's much less.
Well, your hand was still so swollen when you came back to play that it looked like you had a fucking glove on without a glove.
Well, I had to cut out, and so the doctors didn't know this, but I had to cut out all the inside to get my hand in the glove, which then I got used to playing without the padding on the inside. So then I took off the padding, I got rid of it, and then I broke it again the next year. And the doctor goes, "Well, you didn't have padding on the inside." Well, I'm trying to get my hand in my glove. Like, I don't know what you want me to tell you. So now it's there to stay. Learned my lesson, I guess, the second time, but it's yeah, no, that was I just wanted to get back, and as a player, get back for a game like that, you kind of do whatever you want. So it worked.
B. Galley, we covered in our last episode just how crazy the coaching recycle is around the league. It's just the recycling process. Kent Hughes, new GM, obviously already is slim picking because you guys need a French coach. But went out, hired a PB hockey coach, Marty St. Louis. And what's your thoughts on him? And don't just pump his tires for more PP touches. Just give us your thoughts on Marty St. Louis and what it's been like playing for him.
No, I mean, we have a great coach. He loves to be there. I've never met anyone that loves the game as much as Marty loves it. He wouldn't be doing it. He doesn't need to be doing it. He's doing it for one reason. He just loves being around hockey and being around the game, and he takes a lot of pride. And if you don't believe in the message he's saying, I don't know what you're doing. He's an incredible motivator. He's really played however many games he played, accomplished everything he accomplished. He knows the game better than anyone. So it's pretty special, as a player, even in his 30s, to be able to continue to learn and pick his brain whenever you can. So we all enjoy it.
Give us kind of a like inside scoop, just a little convo. Like, if you go 10 games without a goal, he looks like he spends time from afar as a fan now. It looks like, and Woody probably has a question like this too. It just looks like from afar he'll go around and spend time with everyone before practice, after practice, like treats everyone the same. And like, someone's struggling, like, what's he saying? Like, he seems like such a player's coach. Like, those conversations must be so uplifting.
No, he understands what it was like. It's not lost on him. So he knows when you're going through a little drought what you're feeling. He knows, that's probably when you need a little, encouragement and, something to build on, a little positive thing. He'll go tell you, you've been playing really well for the last 3 games. You haven't scored, but tonight's the night, just keep doing what you're doing. He'll do that. But I mean, at the same time, there's a time to be kind of kicked in the rear end too. And he's not afraid to do that. But I think everyone, respects the hell out of him. So when he talks to you, you listen, and that's kind of the bottom line.
I loved when he got hired. One of the pressers, I don't know if it was in French or English, but he mentioned that because there was all that banter, but well, you don't have all this coaching experience, you coach Pee Wee hockey, like how are you going to step in and do this? And he said, I've seen it all. I've been in the shoes of all these guys. I've been in the minors. I got cut. I've been in the minors. I've been the 13th forward. I've been healthy scratched. I've been working my way up through the lineup, grinding on the third and fourth line. I've been a second line forward. I've been on the first PP and led my team in scoring NHL MVP type of stuff. So I loved that perspective when he talked about that. Just um, when he said that, I had the feeling like, holy fuck, these guys are gonna love this guy.
No, and
So, anyways,
he relates to everyone, so
I know.
it's just easy to have a conversation with the guy.
Yeah.
How great, talk about the young core. Obviously, most of the rosters under 25. You got guys like Slafkovsky, who last year, looked like he belonged in the middle school club in Laval, but then this year he made a huge jump, 50 points this year. Caulfield had his most goals he's had. Susie tickling points this year. So obviously the young guys, and then Hudson coming in the last two games, two primary apples, one to you, Galley, net front at Detroit. But just talk about this young core and how great it is, and you being the older guy that these guys look up to.
Yeah, I think it's exciting. I think what our challenge now is taking the next step and really pushing. I mean, we're in one of the toughest divisions in hockey. We get tested night in, night out, and we want to get to that level. So there's the top teams in our division, then there's the bottom half that everyone's just trying to push and get up there. And what's the next step? And we feel like we're building something. We feel like we're growing. And for us as a group, we believe it's going to be next year. We believed it was going to be this year, but you got to be patient at times. And these young kids are continuing to get better. You look at the jumps they're making, and we have a few special players. You talk about Susie, that's our captain. That's a guy that he takes so much on his plate every game, but you can see him. He takes on the best players every night. He does it confidently. We have so much belief in him, and it starts with him. So I think when I look at our group, these guys are continuing to get better, continuing to grow. And as an older guy, you just want to be a part of it. And like I said, understand your role and do your part.
You look at as you age in year 10, 11, 12, how good the young players are coming in. It becomes harder for a veteran to find his place. And you had I would say, a nice bounce back season last year. What are I'll give you a layup, like going into the summer, like what are your focuses? I know 10 years ago, you're just young guy going in the summer, do some squats, get a little stronger, come back. As you age, you start focusing, you hone in on some things, for those 3 or 4 months in the off season. What are you looking to work on this summer to get back and have a good start to the season?
Yeah, there's always your base. You're always doing your same stuff generally, but it's a lot of it is the cardio aspect. I think as you get older,
Yeah.
that's the area of the game that you really gotta work at to keep up. It's not as easy as it used to be. So that's it sucks in the summer. Don't get me wrong. You got to put in a lot of tough days, but that's we add a little bit more of that just so keep up with these young kids. The worst part of practice, by the way, is the Indy 500 before, when you see all the skill that these guys have, the tricks they do when they're skating around. Like, what is that?
Yeah. I know, it's ridiculous. It's not even. It used to be like, wow, there's the third overall pick. Look at the skill set on him. Now it's the 7th rounder that shows up for training camp, and he's doing Michigan's, and you're like, what the fuck is that?
What is that? But
like, when did this happen? There's still a place for the hard nosed grinder, as we're watching in the playoffs here. But yeah, it's fucking insane what these kids can do. Are you old veteran guy? You taking them to Dagwoods like I did sometimes, or what? Does that sandwich shop still exist?
It's still there. And you know what I'm sad about? The Quiznos by the rink shut down, which is just terrible to hear.
Oh,
did
it?
I'm a
right in the 1030, the 10
the
and Broussard.
I'm a Quiznos guy too. So
I know,
tough.
that was your spot.
That was tough. I used to take them there, but now I just don't take the young guys anywhere. There's no place as good as Quiznos. So
that's
the Dagwoods. I remember when you took us there, though. It was
right.
Who was it? Me and Nate. Who'd you take? It was me and
someone. Dude. I took you guys a couple times, and then And then before one of our flights, I was like, guys, Dagwoods. And everyone's like, what the fuck is that hellhole? I'm like, dude, it's better in Subway. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's better in Quiznos.
Yeah.
And we rolled in. It was like Weber,
Yeah.
Price, like all the big guys. And there's like this one high school girl like working behind the counter, just like, oh my God, there's 12 Montreal Canadiens in here fucking eating Dagwoods before flying to wherever. This is classic.
You did more marketing for them than anyone in the history of Dagwoods.
I know.
And it's still running. It's still there. Drive by it every once in a while.
I know. Anyways, classic.
Gally, last question. Obviously, our podcast name is Pre-Game Twirl, so just like a pre-game skate, get your touches in and get out. So we're not going to take too much of your time. But obviously, when you look at these past 3 years in rebuild mode, every year it seems like you guys are making gains and ready for that next step. So going into the clubhouse late August for training camp, what's kind of the expectation going into next year?
Our expectations are to, we want to be a playoff team. To do that, we know our challenges, but we know our strengths, and we have to hit the ground running right away. I think for us, those first 15, 20 games are so important for us to build our identity, to understand what it is. This year I think we found it. We just found it a little bit too late. We were, we felt like last 30, 25 games, we were really okay. If we play this way, we can compete, but you got to do it for a full 82 games. And we don't have time to wait around like some of the other guys. We have to get going right away. So understand where we were at the end of the year and really hit the ground running and, continue to build our identity and make, we're a forechecking team. We're an in-your-face team. We have a lot of talent up front, but we have to be a hard team to play against, and to find that right away, I think we can be competing and, hopefully play some meaningful games at the end of the year.
I got one more. Obviously, you guys want to get back in the Stanley Cup Finals. In the bubble, when you guys were there, the house got broken into.
Oh.
That story broke, and boy, did I have a good chuckle to myself. It made me warm inside. I kind of liked it. I was like, this cheap motherfucker doesn't have a fucking alarm system, or he's in a fucking slump, and the police don't even want to show up to his place. I don't know what, but you got to give the backstory on that, please.
So game 4, we're in Montreal. My buddies come in. I'm playing in this, the Stanley Cup Finals for the first time. So I got 4 buddies that fly in. They're staying at their hotel. They watch the game. We win. They go out for their beers. They come over the next morning. They're level 12 still. That was unreal.
Yeah.
That was awesome. We're coming to Tampa. I'm like, you idiots aren't coming to Tampa. Go home. So I'm like, their flight was later in the day. I'm like, you can stay in my place. Just lock the door. When you leave, lock the door. And no, I didn't have an alarm system, but I had a lock. So these guys, they leave. They either didn't lock the door, or when they hid the key afterwards, they did a terrible job of it. One of the two. Either way, they're in the wrong. So I come home, fast forward game 5, we lose. We stay the night. We fly back the next day. I go to put my key in the door, and it's straight out of a movie. When you push your key in and the door just creaks open a little bit.
Oh,
I'm
no.
like, oh no. So I push the door open. There's glass. There's picture frames that I had. Like I had some jersey frames like right by the door. There's glass broken. So I'm like, we just lost in the Stanley Cup Final. I'm not even really like in the moment. I'm kind of laughing about it. So I'm just walking around. Yeah. I'm looking what's gone. Mostly sports memorabilia. The weird part about it, though, it's almost like it was one of my friends or a Habs. They left the important stuff. Like if there was like I have signed jerseys from the team. Like I have stuff that's like actually worth money or worth something to me. They left it.
Right.
They kind of took.
They left that stuff.
Yeah. They left the TVs. They just took like stuff I didn't really care about.
They probably just want to go in and find a safe and ransack that. How much like in total you think you lost? Like $5,000 or something, or not even?
Probably a little bit more in memorabilia. Like I had like a few like nice jerseys like that they took, but they took like a few like random clothes, or it was really strange what they took. But it wasn't like in the end.
Little did they know you bought your shoes at fucking Aldo's and not Gucci. Hey. Fuck, poor guys.
Were they ever pissed?
I got one last one before Woody wraps it up, but I run a hockey training facility, so training a bunch of kids, and I wanted to ask the $1,000,000 question, if you have the answer to it, just about being a competitive nature, and if you're born with it, develop it over time. You're the ultimate uh, competitor, Gally. Like you'd be a guy like on the bench, or you kind of look at and you got this fucking look on your face, like you're about to run through a wall, type of thing sometimes. And that even you'd have that face in practice sometimes. You'd have it in exhibition season. Obviously, while you're on the ice in regular season, especially playoffs, it's just like that intensity in your face looks like you're just a fucking lion looking for a piece of meat. And I know that's what's gotten you to this point. Just that competitive fire is like, if you had some advice for a young guy, or like, can you teach that to someone?
Yeah, you know what? I think you can. I think you can. I think, you know, my dad never let me win anything. When I was
Yeah.
playing, he was, you know, he's a trainer. He'd be training junior kid. I remember I'd be 10, 11 years old to go to play squash with, you know, some of these 18-year-old kids. They'd be letting me win. He'd scream at them like, don't
Yeah.
let them win. Never let, you know, like make them feel like, make them earn it, make them earn it. And my,
Yeah.
honestly, I was the worst loser. I would pout, I would do all that, but I hated losing so much. You know, it was instilled in you when you're younger, and you know, eventually you do enough to want to win. So you know,
Yep.
I think it's something that you can, you know, definitely teach. I think a
We,
little
we,
bit's
we we
inside you, but a
just
little
get
bit
that a
of,
lot
yeah,
from parents, like, hey, can you teach him to have a little more
yeah.
fire? And
I
I'm like,
I think
I
it's
mean, I'm
just,
doing a
yeah,
private hockey
yeah,
lesson here. How do
yeah,
I that's a
yeah,
I wish I had the
yeah,
answer to that,
yeah,
because I would not be
yeah,
sitting here right now. I'd be
yeah.
on my private jet,
Yeah. Just
you
make the
know?
kids hate to lose. If you hate to
Yeah.
lose, I mean, it's, you know, they'll find a way to win eventually. You know, it's just, but yeah, if anyone has the answer, it's you. You always had the answers.
Fucking right,
Yeah.
Scally. Fucking right,
Yeah.
Spotty.
Well, Gally, really appreciate you coming on. It's an honor to have you as our first guest. Go Habs, go! And I see you scoring 50 cookies next year.
Hey, I'd love to prove you right.
Thank you.
Thanks, Scally.
Thanks, boys.